Hi, this is Eric from the African Homestead. Welcome back. Today we are going to be talking food forest. Today I want to share the work I've been doing along with my partners to establish a food forest here in Liberia. Over the last 2 years, we have been able to plant more than 100 trees. In addition to that, we're planting a lot of other food crops, perennial crops, that we're able to keep the land productive as we're waiting the trees to grow up and start producing. Now, the two things that I want to share with you today is first, what all the tree types are that we planted in our food forest. And this is the tropics, so we have a lot to choose from. And second, I want to show you the method we followed to plant them so that we would get great growth, low disease, and high success. Now, the two goals of this food forest was first diversity. We wanted a lot of different types of trees and plants that will grow under those trees. And the second was productivity. And so we would group those trees together. And so when we plant certain trees, say a cashew, we'll plant 3 to 4 of those cashews together. The same thing with avocado. They cross-pollinate, we're gonna plant those together. Same thing with mango. Anything that will increase production, that's what we're trying to do. The other thing that we did was we just decided on a set spacing between the trees. And so I finally settled on 30 feet. And so that's enough room for a big tree that spreads a lot, like breadfruit or mango, but it also leaves a lot of space in between for smaller trees, citrus trees like orange, lemon, lime, grapefruit. They're gonna have a lot more space in between, but that's okay because later on I plan on running, and once the trees mature, I wanna be able to run pigs and chickens through here and have them clean up all the fruit from the floor, have them be able to take advantage of all the life in the soil. And so if it's dark underneath the canopy, that's gonna be less productive for the livestock that we put in here. So we decided we wanna keep it a little bit more open and airy. So without further ado, here's the list of the trees and other things that we planted. Malay apple, cola nut, orange, oil palm, breadfruit, mango, lime, soursop, bread nut, cashew, grapefruit, golden plum, tropical almond, jackfruit, cinnamon, lemon, wallow, papaya, legumes, coconut, avocado, baby moringa, banana, ginger, arrowroot, pineapple, turmeric, eggplant, kitali, lots of cassava, yam. I don't remember what this is called, but you can eat it. More pineapple, short lemongrass, berry hot pepper, passion fruit, even more pineapple, tall lemongrass, plus lots and 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 lots of flowers for our pollinator friends. Other than that, I got nothing going on. So that's more than 100 trees in our food forest, more than 1,000 pineapple in the ground, and who knows how many cassava we have planted here. And all of that on less than 3 acres of land. And now 2 years after we put our first tree in the ground, and actually most of these 100 plus trees were planted a year ago, we've only lost 1 tree. Well, how's that possible? Well, let me share with you the method we used to plant these trees. The process I used to plant these trees was inspired by and based on the Ellen White method. If you aren't familiar with the method that she developed, you can check it out once you finish watching this video. In a way, it's kind of like lasagna gardening underground. The first thing you do is dig a hole 2 feet square by 2 feet deep. Then in the bottom of that hole, you take some wood, hopefully something that's already rotting, that has fungus on it, that's already breaking down. That means there's a lot of life in it going on. You want to put that down in the first layer. That should be a little bit, some bigger material, some sticks, some leaf, if you have leaf mold from the garden, from the forest floor, something like that. All of that stuff is great to put down there because that's a building block of a healthy tree. The next thing I throw in is wood ash. In this part of the world, wood ash is really important, and I would check your soil in your area to see if wood ash would be beneficial. After that, I put in really good quality compost. The stuff we use here, we make here on site. It's going to be all organic. It's going to be full of bacterial life. And we also put charcoal that has been like pre-treated in our chicken coop. So that means our chickens have been pooping on it, our rabbits have been peeing, pooping on it, and now our sheep are peeing and pooping on it. And that just fills a lot of good material into the charcoal, and then we compost that charcoal. And so it just makes a fantastic material. One other element that Ellen White uses in her method that I opted not to use because I just didn't have access to the quantity I would need, and that is a big rock. She believes that it's good to put right under the tree, put a big rock, and that will basically, the tree will straddle that rock, and as the roots grow, they'll grow around it, and it'll actually make the tree a lot stronger in the soil. Next, I throw in a layer of subsoil. Now here, the subsoil we have is called laterite. It's a red clay with a lot of gravel in it. So I put a layer of that in. And each layer, as we put it down, you want to pack it down. Just go in with your foot and step it down, because if you don't, the tree's not going to have solid hold when you plant it. And then as the rain falls, that's going to settle down, and it's going to go turn into a big hole where your tree's trying to grow. And any heavy winds come, if it's a tall tree, it could easily blow over. So you really want to pack it down as you're building up these layers. After that, you just start going back with alternating layers. So you'll put in a layer of compost, then a layer of subsoil, layer of compost. When you get to the place where you should plant the tree, when you get to that level, I usually kind of leave an opening in the center. I plant the tree, and then I start adding the layers back in again. And the layers, you want them to be a little bit substantial, a couple inches thick each would be just fine. Again, continuing to pack those as you add them up. You don't want to make it hard as a rock, because it would give a little bit difficulty for the roots to grow, but at the same time you don't want it too loose to where the tree could get blown over. And then when you get to the top level, when you're just about full, and I forgot to tell you this, when you start digging the hole, take your topsoil, lay it off to the side. And what I do is when I get to where the hole's almost full, then I mix that topsoil with some compost and put it on as that final layer, and then I just pack that by hand. Make sure the tree is straight. If you need to stake it, now's the time to stake it. But make sure everything's in there. Water it in really, really well. For me, I take 2 5-gallon buckets of water. Even if it's a season where you're getting some rain, those roots have been traumatized in the planting, so you want to get them a good drink of water. So water that in, and I would do that depending on your heat and your time of year, you could do that every 3 days, once a week, but you want to make sure that there's moisture in the ground. That way the roots can't get dried out. They're really needing all the help they can get. And so that is the method. The final layer I would do is, if you have access to a nice mulch, put a thick layer of mulch on there to help lock in the moisture. And then just take care of it. Keep the water going on it. And then once it's established, there's going to be a ton of good nutrients there to help the tree get off to a really good start. So that is the process I use to plant trees here in Liberia. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you learned something. I'd love to hear what you think. Please leave a comment down below. Have a great day. Bye-bye.